world's attention has turned to Istanbul, with hopes for a ceasefire in the more than 3-year war between Russia and Ukraine. These developments concern not only Russia and Ukraine, but also Donald Trump, whose second presidential term would bring striking pronouncements on global crises, and the European Union, which is accelerating efforts to militarize in support of Ukraine, while continuing its aid to Kyiv. In this new international landscape, where divisions between the US and the EU are increasingly apparent, Turkey, maintaining relations with all sides, has once again become the focus of attention. But negotiations between the West and Russia are not taking place only on the Ukrainian front. There is another critically important arena involving Russia, the US, Europe, and even Turkey, Libya. Recent events suggest that the West may soon find itself compelled to reach an agreement with Russia over Libya as well. But first, let us briefly recall Libya's current political situation and balance of power. The Libyan National Army, LNA, and Khalifa Haftar. The Libyan National Army, LNA, controls most of the country's eastern oil fields, especially in the Sirte Basin. After Muammar Gaddafi's overthrow in 2011, this region remained under Islamist control until January 2020, when Haftar's forces seized it within hours.
This is a fundamental step towards peace and stability in Libya. I congratulate the parties for putting the interests of their nation ahead of their differences, and I urge the Libyan parties to maintain the current momentum and show the same determination in reaching a political solution to the conflict, resolving economic issues, and addressing the humanitarian situation. There is no military solution for the conflict in Libya. The ceasefire agreement is a critical step, but there is much hard work ahead. And the United Nations will continue to support the Libyan parties in the search for lasting peace in their country.
The EU, first of all, has lost a lot of credibility. And the reason behind this is, of course, the French position, which militarily, logistically, diplomatically, and politically supported Haftar, and they have lost big time. So Europe is, at the moment, still trying to be involved in Libya, but to be honest, they're not being trusted by either side. Russia probably has more of a role because it has troops in the form of Wagner mercenaries still on the ground. So the Europeans, I think they have a problem in that they have to try amongst themselves to sort out what their actual position is, because no one knows at the moment. The good thing is that I just want to point out that over the last week, there have been 4 municipal elections in the west of Libya. We have not noticed Europe or any other Western country, congratulating Libyan people on this. Of course, these are in areas which are under Libyan civilian government control. In Haftar areas, controlled areas at the moment, there are no elections, and that shows the success of coming out of the defeat of Haftar forces in the west of Libya. We need to see how we can get rid of Haftar totally from all of Libya, so that all of Libyans can taste freedom again.
Western states, especially France and Italy, that profit from Libya's cheap energy, and it offered fresh clues to Russia's regional clout. During the visit, Haftar met with President Putin and Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, focusing on security, counterterrorism, and developments in the broader North Africa Sahel region. His son Khalid Haftar signed a strategic defense cooperation agreement with Deputy Defense Minister Yunus Bek-Yevgurov, an accord that could pave the way for an expanded presence of Russia's Africa Corps in Libya. A recent statement from Russia's Security Council reaffirmed Moscow's commitment to Libya's political settlement process and to supporting international efforts to resolve conflicts and combat terrorism across Africa. Previously, in September 2023, Haftar had met with Putin and then Defense Minister Shoigu at the Kremlin. The West's narrowing options, as Russia deepens its collaboration with the LNA and its rapprochement with Haftar becomes clearer, the West's options are increasingly constrained. With the war in Ukraine, Trump's announced tariffs, and political turmoil within Europe, the U.S., under a maturing, negotiation-oriented but interest-driven foreign policy, may find itself, and its European allies, seeking détente with Russia not just in Eastern Europe, but also in North Africa. Just as realities on the ground in Ukraine have driven negotiations toward the table, a similar equation is emerging in Libya. With Russia's on-the-ground influence in Libya now undeniable, the West appears to have only two choices: recognize this new balance of power or sit down with Moscow to negotiate a Libya dossier. We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Conflict and Power. If you did, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay blessed.